here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my unboxing and first look at the GoPro Mission 1 Pro. This camera retails for roughly $700 at the time of this unboxing. I'll include a link in the description, and in full disclosure, this was not furnished to me by the manufacturer for review purposes, but rather I purchased it. Now, I didn't get it on launch date, which was May 28th, 2026. Apparently, there were some logistics issues with GoPro, but nonetheless, this is their Hail Mary, folks. This is their statement product. This is their attempt to really save the company, but at the same time revolutionize digital imaging. And I give them a lot of credit. Granted, I would have been much more excited about this 5 years ago than I am today, but it is still very exciting, especially in light of the fact that really I can't carry the same photographic payload that I once could have because of back-related issues. So what it comes down to is that at $700, GoPro has given us a 1-inch sensor, 50 megapixel rating, 4x3 opengate AK30 capture on this using the entire sensor, which is absolutely exciting. 32-bit float audio on board, which is a nice, really standard becoming element of all DI products these days. In addition to that, we can shoot 8K 60, so no other action cam can do that. In fact, no other video camera based around a 1-inch sensor at a consumer price point can do that, so really impressive. I still expect some best-in-class stabilization. In addition to that, we have a new battery type that GoPro is quoting around 5 hours of operational use with the Enduro 2, so that's cool. And then the 1-inch sensor should provide better low-light capability, something GoPro has lagged, again, behind terribly. So look forward to testing that out. And then much better dynamic range than your typical action cams based around smaller sensors. So before I open this up, the other thing I want to point to are the cameras here on this table, because you're probably wondering why they're all here. But it's pretty straightforward. It's because when we talk about 1-inch sensors, we talk about photography, we talk about this price point, which is fairly high, and I'll start to open this as I do. You can see I've got real point-and-shoot cameras, whether we're talking about the Sony RX100 Mark VI there, which still sells for over $1,000, even though the Mark VII was the last one that Sony made, which is a totally different product than this, but it's probably one of the best iterations of a 1-inch sensor that money can buy modern day outside of the Mark VII, which is where Sony left their point-and-shoot camera business on the table. The ZV, a vlogging style 1-inch sensor camera, also obviously not action oriented at all, but these were your two 1-inch sensors in all of their glory, really, and Sony hasn't really updated that at all. And then you have, from an action cam standpoint, Insta360 in 2019 making the One RS, which I bought at launch because, well, it was a 1-inch sensor and an action cam. Why wouldn't I buy that? Quality was great, but it had overheating issues, and really Insta was just starting to get notoriety, and, well, they earned it. They earned me as a customer. Now I partner with them occasionally. You've got the Ace Pro and Ace Pro 2, which are excellent, but they went away from the 1-inch sensor. And then you had something like, Sony was making with the RX0. Let's see if I can figure out how this opens up. Oh, you had to be a rocket scientist. And with the RX0 in 2017, yes, I know all of this from my memory, believe it or not. The RX0 gave us a 1-inch sensor in an action camera style body. In fact, a crush-proof, ruggedized steel body. The problem with that camera was that it had no autofocus, among many other things, limitations on video, no good way to monitor. So then in 2019, they did a second gen, but it was still an incomplete product. And unfortunately, that you can still buy, and it's very cool, 12 megapixel stills, that famed 1-inch Sony sensor, but it's got overheating issues. It's limited to 5-minute clips. The screen on it is so small, it makes action cam screens look large. And the price at launch in 2019 was $700. Now it's $1,000 for a product from 2019. So that is why this is so unique. Then, as I mentioned, you have all these new action cams that have really good quality, but don't have 1-inch sensors. So GoPro saw the opportunity. It makes sense. Now, the interchangeable lens version of this, I can't really speak to. That seems a bit ridiculous, but who am I to say? If it ends up being a great product, it will be a great product. That is manual focus only. I'm sure that when I first saw it, I got very excited, but the reality is that it does seem, how do I put it? like, not a ton of engineering was involved in that, and there are rumors regarding Insta360 coming out with an interchangeable lens camera system that is also going to be micro four thirds, which looks like it will be built from the ground up, and that's really what I think we needed to see. So it's not that GoPro didn't have the right idea with what they were doing, they just didn't actually execute, I think, the way many of us would have preferred. But all that aside, then you have DJI's Pocket 3, which has a 1-inch sensor, but is not an action cam. We all know it. Most of us love it. It's expensive. A new gen just launched, and you probably don't need that generation. It gives you the ability not just to have a 1-inch gimbal, 1-inch sensor on a gimbal, but it gives you portrait capability now that you didn't have with this. So a new element, really more of a focus on photography, but still, this is really all about vlogging. And not that action cams aren't, but they're also about action. And this camera can also do nearly 1,000 frames a second for 10 seconds at 1080p. So that is really impressive. And that brings me back to these cameras, because these cameras with their slow-mo capabilities were at that 960. It feels like GoPro bought the sensor and all of its capability from Sony, and they just figured out a way to stick it in this body, and hopefully it does not overheat and just does exactly what it is supposed to. But that's kind of the history here. And the reason I've got the S9 is that a lot of people in the coverage I've seen from the people who got this, not early, but who've already covered it, and maybe they're the action cam people, quote unquote, they've been basically saying that at this price, it's just ridiculous. And you could just buy 2 Ace Pro 2s or buy yourself a real APS-C or something like a Panasonic S9 full frame camera. And by the way, I love this camera. I think it's excellent. It has GoPro-like stabilization, but the ability to take stills and video unlike anything on this table. This is the best camera on this table, but ultimately the best camera is the one that you have with you, and that's where the GoPro becomes relevant. So while this is amazing, it's a total misguided piece of advice, in my opinion, to tell people that because this is $700 you should be buying something like this or 2 of these, because if this does what you need, you should be buying this. And before people keep comparing this to larger interchangeable lens cameras, which makes absolutely no sense to me just because of price, people who are buying this aren't looking for that. So why are you recommending they buy interchangeable lens cameras? I mean, even if these two are close in price, $700, a little over $1,000, more like $1,200 to $1,300 with this lens on sale, closer to $1,000, that would really, the only way I'd ever recommend this would be if that person actually wants an interchangeable lens camera. If they want something tiny like this, granted large for an action cam, this is the way to go, folks, not something else. Now, there have been some issues about the focus. I'll see how that goes. Infinity focus issues, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I mean, I think this camera is going to be a very interesting player in the game. Now, do I plan on really taking stills with it? Not so much. That's just not what I'm after with this. They also let you know here with a little warning that you do have to make sure not to try to open, if I can get this in focus with all the gear on the table, that door, because it's not a door. That's the drain for the microphone, so we're just going to peel that off and try to do this as well as I can. But again, this is really about having that 1-inch sensor, the dynamic range that comes with it, the low light performance, and then if they can improve things, man, I'm having trouble taking off this sticker, GoPro. If they can improve things when it comes to low light, because I saw the low light performance, it's not bad. This is not peeling cleanly. That's crazy. Hold on, maybe I can get the tab at the bottom. That would be nice if they tucked into the drain. There we go. Hopefully. But they've put everything into the cam that I think anybody would want. The price is the issue, right? That's what everybody's talking about. And so if price is your big issue with this, it's not the right product. It's that simple. I mean, you're talking about $700 for a camera that I just told you Sony has their version from 2019 that's $1,000 and isn't going to give you the fidelity that this little GoPro will. So again, I never thought I'd have a GoPro, but here I have one in my hand. Now this lens cover, the protector, is removable, and you can see there's a blue dot there. It's part of their new system where it can detect what kind of lens cover you have on there. So I'm expecting more accessories, and the ability to detect them is not a bad thing. I do wish that they had a flip-up screen on this, but what can you do? We've got our typical GoPro mount here at the bottom that is also magnetic. So this is going to work with, well, the widest array of accessories on planet Earth, because that is really GoPro's lineage. If this doesn't work out, is that the mount will never be forgotten, right? Included, we have a little lens hood. And, I plan on getting a lot of use out of this camera if it's up to the quality level that I'm hoping. There's a new puppy in the house, and I may have, I think I went too far with that. No, it looks like it's good. And this is going to be ideal for filming him running around, doing his thing, having a great time. This is an ideal tool for that. You've got your Type-C charging cable, your mount, and that's pretty much it. Paperwork, your battery. Go ahead and pop this open. And let's get it in there. Now, the door is removable. If you know, you know, and that's because there are other door types. So in the event you want to get one of the magnetic ones, you can do that. Pretty straightforward. Battery just goes in like that. And we are good to go. Just got to charge this bad boy up, and then I will, report back to you guys once I use it. Do you like that button press? I'll tell you that right now. Screen looks sharp from what I can tell thus far. But I'm going to get it set up and start shooting. But that really is, what this camera is all about. If you want a 1-inch sensor, if you want the highest fidelity an action cam can deliver, this should be it for GoPro. And based on what they've actually stuck inside here, it is an impressive feat. Again, this is the last action cam to have a 1-inch sensor. And I can tell you the quality was good, but I'm expecting much better. In all the comparisons I've seen so far, this is right in line, slightly better than competing products out there. And again, those are substantially less money, but I also expect this to get better with time. But that's when people start to question, well, what happens if GoPro's not around, And get some stickers if you need them. And that's something I can't really speak to, folks. This is about buying the camera, for what it is today, and the hope that it's going to be, it's going to serve you for what you need. I mean, that's really my best way of putting it. And if you think it's going to do that, then it's likely the right product for you. But that pretty much rounds things out. The Mission 1 Pro, again, $700 US. It's, I think, the largest action cam they've ever made. I'm going to start using it as soon as I wrap this video, because I want to see what we can do here with those 50 megapixel stills as well. And that slow-mo video with the pups. That should be interesting. Do a little swimming. You will hear back. I can assure you of that. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.